everybody, welcome back. All right, so today's video, as you can see by the title, is going to be a super requested and super exciting video. In 2020, I think, I started shifting away from using things like Zepeto apps and avatars and instead started drawing myself as my own character. Now, little Jenna has gone through a few iterations over the years, but pretty much a lot of it has stayed the same. Now, one of the questions that I get constantly is, Jenna, can you draw me as a character, number one? Or two, Jenna, how can I learn to draw me as a character? And that's the one that we're going to focus on today. Quick disclaimer, I am not professionally trained. I am 100% self-taught. I have never taken a professional art class, drawing class, nothing. Everything I know I learned by doing. So while it might not be the right way, I'm going to show you my way. So one of the things that you'll see out there is a lot of like mannequins, right? Like the you'll see either like the one that has like no features and it's just like a wooden and has a long head. I'll put up photos, you know what I'm talking about. And that's okay. I have one of those, but I was never able to pose it in a way that I wanted to draw my character, one. And two, its shape doesn't really lend itself to a lot of variety of characters, specifically female characters. So, and then number two, you see these hyper realistic and really neat model dolls, which are probably about this tall, and you can shape them. You can change their hands in and out. Again, I'll include a photo here. But these are ridiculously expensive. Now, they're great and they work flawlessly, but a lot of us, especially those of us who just do this as a hobby, that's a lot of money to put out for something that you're maybe not going to use. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't know if you're going to get as much out of it as the price tag would imply that you should. So I came up with a solution that's a little unorthodox maybe, but it works fantastically. Let me introduce you to my model. Now, this is, and I had to look this up, the LOL Surprise OMG Dance 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 Major Lady Fashion Doll. That is her name. This is not wish.com. I know. Now, when I was looking at like ball jointed dolls to use as models, because I wanted the flexibility in the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, a lot of them were hyper expensive because they were customized, right? They had the full face paint, wigs, clothing. And I was like, I'm not interested in any of that. I just need the figure. So immediately I took those off the table. Plus, and I learned this later, they're tall. They're really big. And I was like, I don't need something that big. So I settled on, okay, well, what about Bratz dolls? Because they have the big heads that I like. They have the shapes that I like. The problem that I found with the Bratz dolls, as I'm sure a lot of you know, they don't have feet. So it's shoes or nothing. And I was like, oh, I could get around it. But, and then I found these guys. Okay. Now, my kids used to play with the baby ones of these. And I was like, okay, that's not going to work unless I'm doing something specifically baby. But in looking, I found that they had these ones. And this girl is, let me see if I can find her height. Okay, so I can't find how tall she is, but I'm going to assume she's around 10 or so inches tall, not including her hair. But what I really liked about her is, number one, she has the huge head that my characters typically have, which is not a huge deal because you can draw a circle and kind of work with that. But more so, she has hips. Right? Now, would I say that this doll is necessarily appropriate for a child? Maybe not. This doll has nipples, okay? It's kind of awkward. But for my purposes, it's perfect because she's got a full figure, she's posable, she has movable wrist joints, she has movable elbow, and she has an articulating shoulder. So you can get her into a bunch of different positions to model off of. Now, admittedly, her chest is a little substandard for representing me, But again, this is just a base form to model your character off of. Now, I let my kids check her out. That's why her hair is all janky. But when I'm posing her anyway, I typically will put the hair out of the way because I want to get the body form, not the hair. Now, her legs, she has articulation in her hips, and she has these snap knees like the old Barbies used to have, so you can kind of snap her leg in place. Her legs and her knees don't move as much as I would like for them to. Like, I can't put her like in a cross-legged pose, but I mean, let me verify this, for $15, it's good enough. I think this might even be less expensive than the wooden model that I showed you guys earlier. So how do you take this little doll and create something that the beginner / intermediate artist can use? Well, super simple. I take photos. So I'm just going to take a regular hair scrunchie, get her little ponytails here, and give her what we can affectionately call the Jenna morning hairdo. Does this look familiar to anybody else? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off her little garment here. I might have to blur some of her out because, like I said, she's a little realistic for a fashion doll in the top zone. But she does have little panties on. I don't know how much of that I can show either, because let's be honest. And then I'm just going to kind of pose her into a pose that I like. And then I'm going to take my cell phone, okay, and I'm going to take a picture. Just an easy shot. And you want to do this as much as you can against a plain background so that you don't confuse yourself later. So we're just going to take a photo. And I will include the photo with probably some little sensor bars here. And then we're going to take it into Procreate. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I have brought our photo into Procreate. Now I'm just using a standard square canvas. I did add a little bit of censorship to our friend dance major lady here, whatever her name is. So now I'm going to hit this little N here and lower the opacity of our image to about 50%. That way we can still see her shape, but we don't have, we're able to see what we're drawing over top of her. So now we're going to take a simple pen. I use this liner pen that is in the inking section. It is a studio pen that I have taken pressure sensitivity off of. Now, let me really quick jump in here and state that a lot of people will tell you, okay, you're just tracing this. You're not drawing this. Well, yes, that is true. This is practice, you guys. And this is also setting you up so that you can create different characters with the same pose very, very easily. So we're not looking for perfection here, okay? We're just going to do, and I'm going to have to move this around a bit. So I want to follow the shape of her back, come around, shape of her leg. And again, I'm not doing perfection because this is just our starting point. Come around, get a foot shape. Like that. And then we'll do this leg. And now she's on her toes, so I'm going to keep this just like that, and we can change this later. I'm going to draw her chest in a way that's not so graphic. And then I'm going to do this arm. Now, in this instance, her arm is crossing over her body on the back, so there will be a line of separation. So I can just come around, draw around her arm like this, come down like that. And I'm just going to do a rough shape of her fingers. Now, my characters typically will have 3 fingers just because that's the stylistic choice I made when I create them. So while this doll has 5, well, mine has 4 if you count the thumb. This doll has 5, but I'm still going to go around them as is, sort of. And again, we're not going for perfection. But just because if I did decide I wanted something with a little more shape, I would have it. And then I'm just going to draw her head like so. And then I'm not going to draw her features. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come across. This is the middle of her eyes, nose, mouth. So then you can see where your features would go to create something on this shape and size of head. So now I can erase her. And we have a simple shaped model here. So I would again lower the opacity here. And now you would start to create your actual character. All right, so this is a very, oh, I forgot a space. This is a very simple rendition of drawing a character. Now, bear in mind, you guys, that when you're doodling or when you're creating, when you're sketching, whatever your idea of perfect is, get rid of that. Okay, get rid of that. Drawing for yourself and drawing for your planners or your bullet journals, it's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be a representation of you. Now, would I say, oh, hey, I am the best artist ever? God, no, absolutely not. What I focus on in my art like this is simplicity and fun. Okay, the feeling of fun that you get from creating something. I hope you guys found this useful and not at all boring like I feel like it was. But yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this, and I hope that you're able to use this technique to create your own character shapes, to design your own characters. So if you do draw yourself or someone else as an avatar, please tag me if you post it in the Facebook group or Instagram. Both are listed down in the description, and I would love to see them. So definitely tag me if you do. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.